Hey guys, welcome back to Sip and Dip with Chelsea. For today's video, we're going to be chatting about the do's and don'ts of dip powder liquid top coats, how we get that high shine for all of our manicures, but I'm also going to show y'all how to fix it when you don't. And then of course, we can't talk about high shines without talking about liquid care. So I will also be sharing some liquid care tips and how to prevent cross-contamination. So to save time so I can go really in depth on this topic, I've already gone ahead and done 2 dips of High Tide from Revel Nail, and also I've encapsulated with clear, I activated, then filed, shape, and buff. So now we are ready for our second layer of activator. If you need a step-by-step, more in-depth video of the dip application process, I will leave that video linked up above and down below in the description box. So we can't talk about dip powder top coats without talking about activator. Activator plays a huge role in how your dip powder liquid top coat is going to perform. The activator is what cures and hardens the base coat, and it's also what makes the top coat properly dry as well. So a big dip top coat do is to apply a very generous amount of this activator. You can see I have fully saturated the nail. It's completely covered in the activator, and that is how we're going to get our first step for having a high shine top coat. So I go nail by nail, making sure I apply a very generous layer of this, and right here is another big do. Make sure you dip back into the bottle every single time so that you can have enough product on your brush. Remember that the activator is not the enemy. The activator is a team. It works with the base coat and it also works hand in hand with the top coat. So if you want to have those high shine results, we have to generously apply the activator to all of the nails. A big don't would be to apply top coat right now. Activator needs time to dry before going on to top coat. A general rule of thumb is 2 minutes, but definitely check out your instructions to see how long they want the activator to dry. Another don't would be to let it dry for too long. So don't walk away for hours on end before going on to do your top coat. I would suggest no longer than 5 minutes. All right, so 2 minutes have passed and my next don't is going to ruffle some feathers. So for me personally, I don't suggest washing your hands at this point or applying rubbing alcohol. The rubbing alcohol could possibly remove the activator, which we need to properly cure the top coat. If it works for you to do those things, then please keep doing it. Do whatever works best for you. But in my own experience, I'm going to share it as a don't. I like to use a dry napkin, dry paper towel, lint-free wipe of some sort to just rub it across the entire top surface of the nails. All right, y'all, it is time for the star of the show, the one, the drama queen that gives us the most trouble. Another big tip would be to make sure you don't use too much product on your brush. It will not be able to dry. This is how much I use for that first layer, not very much on my brush. And all you have to do for your first coat is 3 quick strokes. That is it. It doesn't need to be super detailed. Wipe your brush off before returning it to the bottle, and that's your first layer. 3 quick strokes. What can happen sometimes when we over manipulate the top coat, it can actually cause the top coat to not dry properly. It's not like nail polish. All we need is 3 quick strokes, and that's it for our first coat. From this point, you would go on to do the other hand, of course, and now you can see at this point, it's already started drying. You see how it looks a little bit wrinkled? It's kind of shrinked looking. That's how you can tell if the top coat has begun drying. Every top coat brand is going to be different on what it suggests to do next, so you need to check to see after your first layer how long you need to wait. Some say go in immediately after for the second coat, some say wait 1 minute, wait 2 minutes, so just check to see what your instructions state for the next step. 1 minute has passed and mine are dry, so I'm going in for that second coat. The second coat is more detailed and more precise, getting all the way over to those sidewall areas and capping off my free edge. Note, this is a huge do. Make sure you're always wiping off your brush on the napkin before returning it back to the bottle. So I follow those same steps, going nail by nail, doing a more detailed coat with thin product on my brush. Having thin layers is really crucial so that it will dry properly. Another top coat don't would be to touch this brush on your skin. Unfortunately, just a simple brush of it against your skin can cause the brush to harden and contaminate. The oils, the dust, the debris, anything you might have on your skin can really wreak havoc on your dip powder top coat. All right, y'all, the next don't is don't move. Don't do anything, just sit there. Let them dry. Don't smudge them, don't bump them. Check your instructions to see what the proper dry time is. Some are super quick, some take a little bit longer, but make sure you let them fully dry before doing anything, before cleaning up, before applying cuticle oil. That is so important when it comes to top coat. So while my thumb was drying, I purposely smudged it so I could demonstrate how to fix it. So you see this matte spot here in the center of my nail, that is where I smudged it. If you ever accidentally bump it while it's drying, or you apply the top coat too thick or not enough activator, what have you, I'm going to show you how to fix it. With my 100/180 grit Macart file, I'm going to use the 180 grit side to remove the entire top layer, so that top coat layer. Now you want to make sure it's properly dried, so if it's not dried, you can apply some rubbing alcohol to it. If you try to file it while it's still wet, it's going to be a gummy mess. So I'm not really pressing very hard, just making sure I remove that top coat layer so we can fix it. Next, with a stiff scrub brush, I'm going to dust off that excess powder, and we're basically restarting. So with the activator, we're going to apply another generous layer of this across the entire nail and let that dry for 2 minutes. Once it's dried, then I use my dry napkin and rub it across the entire top surface of the nail. Then I remove as much product on my brush as I need. Here's about how much I have. 3 quick strokes on the nail for that first layer, wiping my brush off on the napkin. And after about a minute has passed and I start to notice the shrinking and the wrinkling on the nail, I'll go in for that second coat. Removing as much product on my brush again as I need for a thin layer, I go more detailed for the second coat, making sure I get to those sidewalls, but not touching the brush on my skin, capping off my free edge area and wiping it off on the napkin. Then we wait, we sit, we let it dry, we don't move, and that's it. That's how we fix it when we accidentally bump it or something goes wrong. Another reason your top coat might not be performing properly could be due to contamination. So I like to add a couple drops of this gel thinner to my base coat and my top coat now that my manicure is dry. It really does increase the longevity of your liquids, and so you can get down to the very bottom of your bottle. Now that I'm done with my gel thinner, it's time to seal it up. But before I do, I want to remove that excess product up there on the neck. So you see that shininess? That's my excess dip top coat when I was wiping off my brush. So with my napkin, I'm just going to clean it off before closing it up. If I were to leave that there, it will probably contaminate the liquids and make the bottle seal shut. Here's the deal, you guys. There are so many brands out there. Don't be afraid to explore and try to find that brand that works best for you. If you love your base coat and your activator, you can absolutely mix and match. You can grab a different top coat if you are having so many issues still with that top coat. Don't be afraid to try and explore other brands. Not all brands are created equal, unfortunately. Even with these tips and tricks, I still contaminate my top coat. There are certain brands that it just doesn't matter what I do, they contaminate. The brush hardens no matter what I do if I look at it wrong. So if you feel like you've followed all of these tips and tricks, all of these steps, and you just cannot get it to work for you, or maybe you just don't like the shine, don't be afraid to try out different brands. Or maybe you're just ready to break up with dip powder top coats. And if you don't have a gel allergy, might I suggest a gel top coat? So this is Manny Boss's 2-in-1 gel base and top coat. It is HEMA-free, it has a high shine, it doesn't yellow. It is amazing. I love this product so much. The only hang up is you will need a lamp, but the positive is it doesn't have that dip powder liquid odor. All right, y'all, that is it for my do's and don'ts of dip powder top coats. I hope that you found today's video helpful. For all of my veterans out there, please feel free to leave any tips or tricks down below in the comments so that we can continue to help the rest of our community. If you are having any other issues with your dip powder process, absolutely leave them down below. That's where I get a lot of my filming ideas, because at the end of the day, I'm just here to help you guys. Thank y'all again for coming and hanging out with me today. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video.